Estamos aquí en Radio Row y nos encontramos con Ryan Leaf. Ryan, thank you very much for being with us. Muchas gracias, Ryan. You know a little bit Spanish, right?
A little bit of a poquito.
Un poquito. Hey, you want to do this in Spanish?
I don't think that would be good for your listeners.
Hey, Ryan, let's talk about the Super Bowl. Hey, Super Bowl is about legacy. When you hear the word legacy, what does it mean to you?
Legacy means a lot of different things. Like when it comes to football, legacy is a much different concept than it was as legacy as a husband or a father or a son. And those have become very important identifiers for me later in life. But as a football player, this is the legacy that you want. You want to play for a championship. You want to be the one that lifts the Lombardi trophy and you have the legacy of being a Super Bowl champion.
Talking about Super Bowl champions, let's talk about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was a top 3 quarterback back in 2018. You were a top 3 quarterback back in 1998. How can you relate this, and how do you think the position has changed so much in so many years?
Well, I'm just really proud of Sam, first and foremost. I know what it feels like to carry that anchor around when you don't have early success with an organization. Luckily for him, he hasn't allowed it to affect him negatively the way I let it affect me negatively. He's kept going. He's worked at his craft. He's tried to be better. And I also think it's lent itself to understanding that the New York Jets systemically are a real problem and a toxic place for young quarterbacks to go. He found his space. He got behind a team and a concept that has supported him. And even one more where he goes and wins 14 games for Minnesota, they still said it wasn't enough. The Seattle Seahawks clearly said it's more than enough for us. Come, and he's been nothing but exceptional this year for this team to get to the Super Bowl.
And when you look at Sam, I mean, you mentioned he was with the Jets, but then he went to the Panthers, then he went to the 49ers, then he went to the Vikings, and finally he set up with the Seattle Seahawks. What do you see of Sam that you can, wow, this guy has it. This guy really has the tools to be a franchise quarterback.
Unbelievable ability to overcome adversity. I think that's I don't know if there's a better story of overcoming adversity than what Sam Darnold has. You talked about all the stops he's made, and every time people were like, well, not good enough. Not good enough. Until Seattle said, you know what? You're plenty good enough, and we're going to support you and give you the tools you need. And one of the best tools he got was that defense. And when you have a defense like that, it allows you to play a little more freely. You know, he led the leagues in turnovers, but it didn't affect him negatively when he was going into the NFC Championship, where he was incredibly surgical against the Los Angeles Rams.
And exactly mentioning that, if you look at Sam Darnold, I mean, mental-wise, from your experience, what can you tell? He really worked on that, knowing where he is right now.
Oh, I mean, the mental toughness in which he's done. That's why he's so inspirational to me, because I know how hard it was, and I couldn't do it. And he's found a way to do it. A lot of times, guys have had maybe some early struggles, but haven't been seen as what people would consider called a draft bust. Yes. And that's the anchor that Sam was wearing and carrying around with him. And to discard that this late in his career, where everybody had this identity for him, but to go carve his own path, I think that's what speaks volumes to me. And again, that's why it's such an inspirational story and one I'm so proud to have witnessed.
It is. And I want to say something about, let's look at the quarterbacks. You see Jaden Daniels last year as a rookie make it to the NFC Championship. Kelly Williams to the divisional game. Bo Nix very close to make it to the second year to the Super Bowl. Drake May in his second year as a Super Bowl. Looking back in 1998, how difficult it was to make it, to all these instances, playoffs, Super Bowl, and how you think this has been translated into this year's NFL?
Yeah, the margins are so thin
in
terms of wins and losses in this league. And you look at the team that Drake May was a part of his rookie year, I mean, they couldn't find a way to win a game.
4 wins.
And this year it was completely different. This team gets on a roll. Momentum's a real thing in this league. And when the quarterback's playing at a high level, the rest of the team vibes off that, and there's a confidence that is exuded by the entire team. And I think Mike Vrabel saw that, fed off it, and don't forget, this team started 1-2. They lost to the Raiders in Week 1. Like this was going down a path that was not in the right direction, and they just found a way to overcome. And then once you do that, confidence continues to build. The quarterback played with a lot of confidence moving forward, and they just went on a run and won a bunch of games. The only game they lost, they were up 21 points to Buffalo in a game.
Yes.
So, I mean, they don't know what it's like to lose right now. And that's an important facet when you're going into a game where it's a one-shot opportunity. When you're not used to losing, which they aren't this year, that's a very tough thing to overcome if you're a team.
The good point. I mean, you mentioned they haven't lost in almost 2 months. How do you take this into the Super Bowl, knowing you're underdogs by 5 points?
Well, I don't think we ever really, I know I never looked at the point spread or what we thought was an underdog or not. I went into the game thinking we were going to win. If we were prepared, we had the players, we're just as good as you. We get paid just like you do. Yes. You know, this is one shot for it all. I think that's the biggest thing. This is not the NBA. This is not Major League Baseball where you have 7 opportunities to win 4 games. You have 1 game. And if you have a bad one, it can get really ugly. John Elway might have been one of the greatest Super Bowl quarterbacks of all time, getting his team to the Super Bowl. Just so happened a few of those times they played really poorly in the biggest game that there was possible. And then he found ways late in his career to play really well in the game he needed to. So that's an important facet of this. I'd love to see a highly executed and efficient game by both teams. And then the best team ultimately at the end comes out with the victory.
And let's keep going about the Patriots. I mean, like you were mentioning, last year they won 4 games. They won 14 this year. How huge, from our own experience, how huge is to have a good coach like Mike Vrabel is?
Well, I think this is a huge difference. I think when billionaire owners exist, it's very hard for them to admit that they may have messed up. Okay. And to hear Bob Kraft actually take a look in the mirror and go, you know what, I may have made the wrong choice in Gerard Mayo. Instead of trying to fight through it and pretend like he made the right choice and kept pushing something further down the line, he made an executive decision with his son Jonathan, and they made a change. And they went and got Mike Vrabel, and it's been a complete difference maker. And so I applaud him for what he did in this instance, in this team, and how they got better throughout the year. Got behind a young quarterback, played incredibly good defense, and now they got themselves in a position to be 60 minutes away from being Super Bowl champs again.
And what do you think about Bill Belichick?
Did you see my tweet?
No. Okay.
So
I was getting there.
So when Bill Belichick was not voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is absolutely the most moronic thing you can imagine, I tweeted that I was a Hall of Fame voter and that I didn't vote for Belichick because of my resentments, and this was for revenge. And by the way, Tom Brady's not getting in either. You lose to Foles, you're not getting in. No way, no how. 3.7 million people viewed that thing. I guarantee you 3.5 million of the people thought I was a Hall of Fame voter, which is really a problem for me in terms of what the world is, that they thought I was a Hall of Fame. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But they're going to take away my Hall of Fame vote now because I didn't vote for Belichick, I guess.
So it's Belichick, Robert Kraft, the same thing. You think Tom Brady's getting into the same path once he's eligible?
If Tom Brady is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then the world is a bizarro world. I mean, he's the best player to ever play the game of football, and he's becoming a darn good analyst too.
Yes.
I mean, he had a bit of a rocky first year, but I can tell you right, that dude, he works his tail off, and he was very, very good this year.
Finally, I want to something. We talk about inspiring. I read your column from a few years ago. Walk us through that, please.
I mean, it just was, a friend of mine came to me, Derek Jeter's Players Tribune, and he wanted to float something by me about writing a letter to my younger self and what that would look like and what that would sound like. And I think it was just a way for me to be really transparent and honest. And I think it's helped a lot of people. It helped me. It was kind of therapeutic for me just to talk about it. Listen, it's going to be really hard, but you're going to be okay. Yes. I think that's a lot of things. If people just understand that there's hope at the end of this. Life is hard. Life isn't fair. It's about how you deal with it that matters. And so you may not deal with it the right way at first, but if you keep working at it and put yourself in the right position and surround yourself with the right people, doesn't mean you still don't make mistakes. We make mistakes every single day. We're all flawed human beings trying to be better, plain and simple. And so that's what that was. That was a call to arms of sorts for those of you out there that may still be struggling. There is hope.
Okay. Well, Brian, I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you. We've been here with Brian Leaf. Regresamos con ustedes.